My wake-up call, too much stuff, we've all been there. It's that moment when you look around and realize your living space is more like a storage unit. Every corner, every shelf, and every drawer is filled to the brim with things you barely use or even remember buying. I was looking around my house one day and I was overwhelmed, so much stuff. It felt like the walls were closing in on me, suffocating me with the weight of all these unnecessary possessions. I had clothes I never wore, gadgets I didn't use, and items that were just collecting dust. It was a stark reminder of how much money I had wasted on things that added no real value to my life, and a pantry full of forgotten food, expired cans, stale snacks, and ingredients I bought for recipes I never got around to making. It was a mess, and it was costing me more than just money. It was a light bulb moment. I realized that my spending habits were not just cluttering my home but also my mind. I needed to make a change. I realized I was spending too much money on things I didn't need. Every receipt was a testament to my impulsive buying habits. I was buying happiness in the form of material goods, but it was a fleeting joy that quickly faded. My spending habits were out of control. Sound familiar? The stress of mounting bills and the anxiety of checking my credit card statements was taking a toll on my mental health. We live in a world of instant gratification. The convenience of online shopping and the allure of sales make it so easy to accumulate more and more stuff. It's so easy to click and buy, swipe, and spend. Each purchase feels like a small victory, but those victories add up to a mountain of debt and clutter. But all those little purchases add up. They create a financial burden that can be hard to escape from. It's a cycle of spending and regret that many of us know all too well. It was time for a change. I needed to take control of my life and my finances. I started by making a list of all the things I truly needed and cutting out the rest. I needed to break free from this cycle of overspending and find a way to take back control of my finances. I began by setting a budget and sticking to it, no matter how tempting it was to stray. That's when I discovered the 30-day no-spend challenge. It was a radical idea, but it seemed like the perfect way to reset my spending habits. It sounded intimidating, but I was ready for a challenge. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was determined to see it through. I was craving a way to reset my relationship with money. I wanted to understand my spending triggers and learn to appreciate what I already had. Little did I know, this challenge would transform my finances and change how I think about spending for the better. It taught me the value of mindful spending and the joy of living with less. The no-spend challenge is simple. For 30 days you commit to not spending any money on non-essential items. This means no online shopping, no takeout, no fancy coffees. You focus on the essentials: rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, and transportation. It's about awareness. The goal is to break the cycle of mindless spending and become more conscious of where your money is going. It's about identifying your spending triggers and finding creative ways to live with less. It's not about deprivation. It's about being intentional with your money. Before diving headfirst into the challenge, I knew I needed a plan. It wasn't just about having a vague idea, it was about having a detailed roadmap to guide me through each step. I started by writing down my goals and breaking them into smaller, manageable tasks. This way, I could tackle each part without feeling overwhelmed. First, I reviewed my budget. I needed to understand my financial situation clearly. I tracked my spending for the past few months to see where my money was going. This was eye-opening. I realized that small, seemingly insignificant purchases were adding up quickly. I was shocked to see how much I was spending on eating out and entertainment. These were areas I could definitely cut back on. Next, I set clear rules for myself. I decided to limit dining out to once a week and to find more affordable ways to entertain myself. I made a list of what I considered essential and non-essential spending. Essentials included rent, utilities, and groceries, while non-essentials were things like new clothes and gadgets. This helped me stay on track and avoid any gray areas. By having a clear distinction, I could make better decisions about my spending. I also set a realistic savings goal for the month. I aimed to save a specific amount, which gave me something concrete to work towards. Having something specific to work towards kept me motivated. Each time I reached a milestone, it felt like a significant achievement, pushing me to continue on this path of financial discipline and success. The first week was tough, I'm not going to lie. The temptation to spend was everywhere. I found myself browsing online stores out of habit, missing my daily latte, and saying no to social gatherings that involved spending money. My old habits were hard to break. I had to constantly remind myself why I was doing this challenge. I kept my savings goal in mind and visualized achieving it. I also found creative ways to deal with cravings. I tried new recipes at home instead of ordering takeout, and I explored free activities in my community. Section 5, Week 2, Finding My Groove. By the second week, something amazing happened. I started to adjust. The initial shock of changing my habits began to wear off, and I found a new rhythm in my daily life. The initial cravings subsided, and I found myself feeling more content with less. I began to appreciate the simple things that I had previously overlooked. I discovered hidden talents and interests I didn't have time for before. I started reading more, cooking at home, and even picked up new hobbies that brought me joy and satisfaction. I began to explore my neighborhood on foot, discovering parks, cafes, and little shops that I had never noticed before. These walks became a cherished part of my routine. I became more aware of my spending triggers. I started to track my expenses meticulously, understanding where my money was going and why. I noticed how often I was tempted to spend money when I was bored, stressed, or feeling down. This awareness was empowering. Recognizing these patterns allowed me to take control of my emotions and my spending habits. I started to find healthier ways to cope with these emotions, like going for a walk, calling a friend, or listening to music. These activities not only helped me manage my emotions, but also enriched my life in unexpected ways. I found that these small changes had a big impact on my overall well-being. I felt more in control, more at peace, and more connected to the world around me. This journey of finding my groove was just the beginning of a more mindful and fulfilling life. Section 6, Week 3, Smooth Sailing and Unexpected Perks. Week 3 was a turning point. The challenge started to feel effortless. Not only was I saving money, but I was also experiencing unexpected benefits. I felt calmer, less stressed about money, and more in control of my finances. I discovered the joy of simple pleasures. A walk in the park, a phone call with a friend, or a homemade meal became more meaningful. I realized that true happiness didn't come from material possessions. It came from experiences, connections, and gratitude for what I already had. Section 7, Week 4, Crossing the Finish Line. As I entered the final week, a sense of accomplishment washed over me. I had successfully completed the 30-day no-spend challenge. Not only had I surpassed my savings goal, but I had gained so much more. I felt empowered and proud of myself for sticking to my commitment. I had proven to myself that I could break free from my old spending habits and make positive changes in my life. The experience was truly transformative. Section 8, The Big Picture, Lasting Change, and New Possibilities. The 30-day no-spend challenge was more than just a financial detox. It was a journey of self-discovery. It taught me the difference between wants and needs, the power of contentment, and the importance of mindful spending. I learned that true wealth is not measured by how much you spend, but by how much you save and how much you enjoy your life. The money I saved during the challenge was great, but the real reward was the shift in my mindset. Section 9, Your turn. Take the challenge. If you're feeling overwhelmed by your finances, I encourage you to try the 30-day no-spend challenge. It's not about deprivation, it's about taking control of your money and your life. You might be surprised by what you learn about yourself and your spending habits. Remember, you don't have to do it perfectly. Just start. Every small step you take toward financial freedom is a victory. You've got this.